What is going on, boys and girls? Arsenal 2, Leverkusen nil, and we are through to the Champions League quarterfinals. And we finally got a bit of a performance, people. I've been crying and crying and crying for a good performance from Arsenal for a while now, and the boys finally delivered. Look, let's start with the starting 11. Obviously, no Timber. Hopefully, that's nothing too serious. It doesn't sound like it is. Because I would like to have him available and ready for the cup final this weekend. But Raya in goal, Ben White at right back, Nkapia on the left, Saliba Gabriel, Zubi Rice, Eze in the 10, Saka on the right, Trossard came in on the left, and Gyökeres up top. Look, I think this was a really positive start from Arsenal. I was really happy to see us just overall be a lot more front-footed. Quicker passing, more direct, pressing higher. And look, I get it that European football seems to allow us to play that type of football more than maybe the Premier League does. But it was just neat. It was nice to see Arsenal start the game with a level of urgency. I think what would have really annoyed me with this game would have been if we just kind of approached it the same way we seem to have approached a lot of games this season, which is just a real kind of desire to keep the ball, not do anything too elaborate, and just kind of waste time, really. I think the first real big chance was Trossard in the 15th minute. A really good effort from him going into the top right corner. Great save from the goalkeeper. Around the 30th minute mark, there was another great chance for Trossard. I think Rice crossed the ball in. It kind of went through the box. Saka picked it up on the right, kind of cut it back in, and Trossard had a really nice low shot that, to be fair, was kind of going probably too close towards the keeper. The keeper puts a good save, and it could have easily hit the defender and gone in, but it kind of just ran past the far post and out for a corner. So it was... We probably could have been 1 or 2-0 up within those first 30 minutes. But then around the 35th minute, we had our first piece of magic. And what a piece of magic it was from Eze. I finally feel like Eze is starting to find his feet within this team. I feel like he's starting to find that confidence and that comfort level. Obviously, he's had a good run in the team now, so that's probably starting to benefit him. But that goal was superb. It's what I've been talking about in terms of our attacking players. Someone needs to step up and create those moments of magic, because our games are only going to get more complicated. They're only going to get harder and more tighter. And so sometimes it does come down to that individual brilliance to win these types of games. And that goal from Eze was absolutely top draw. The way he used his body and the ball to create the space, get himself from facing away from goal to facing towards the goal, and then just being able to volley that on the kind of half volley into the top left corner with so much power and accuracy. It was just an incredible goal. It's probably the best goal he's scored for Arsenal. It's his first goal in the Champions League. And it was just a very, very special goal. And I was really happy for him, because these are the type of moments that we were expecting to get from Eze. And I'm delighted to see this starting to take shape now, because we are now entering the business end of the season. There's no doubts about it. And to have a player like Eze starting to fulfill that promise and start to play with that level of confidence that we want from him is really exciting, because I do think Eze is a confidence player, and I think his confidence might have been a little bit rocked in the first half of this season, kind of being dipped in and out of the team. There was a really long period of time where he just was not getting a look in, and I feel like this latest Odegaard injury has just allowed him to just kind of settle into the team. We go in at half time, 1-0 up. Probably should have been 2 or 3. Again, we created some good chances in that first half. I felt like we kept Bayer Leverkusen to a good distance. I didn't really feel any threat in that first half. There was one chance with, I think it might have been Grimaldo, who managed to get through, but it was a great block from Nkapia. But outside of that, I can't think of anything particularly that warranted us to get too scared or nervous. And then the second half kicked off, and it was kind of more of the same. Again, my one criticism of Arsenal in this game if I want to be kind of really critical and think bigger picture, is, again, this is something that we've been kind of concerned with a lot this season, is I don't think we were as clinical as we should have been. I felt like this is a game that finished 2-0, but it probably should have finished at least 3 or 4-0. And there were also a lot of chances in the game where we had breakaway opportunities with a kind of 3-on-2, 4-on-3, and we just couldn't find that right pass, or we just didn't have that clinical finish to put the ball in the back of the net. Whereas you feel like there were a couple of moments, particularly in that second half, where we did well to win the ball back and break on Leverkusen, who were obviously trying to find that equaliser. And you're thinking it's just that final pass or that final decision to get a shot away earlier that we're just lacking at the moment. And you feel like the PSGs, the Bayern Munichs, and maybe the Real Madrids score from those chances. And I think once you get to that higher level, it'll be really important for Arsenal to make sure they take advantage of those opportunities. However, fortunately for us, we did manage to get that second goal. It was another great example of the danger that we can create by pressing high and winning that ball back high up the pitch. I think that was something that Arsenal did really well in this game, and I haven't seen it as much from Arsenal in recent weeks or times, is we were pressing as a collective unit. We were winning the ball back high up on the pitch through that pressing and that urgency, and that's what essentially created the goal for Rice. We pressured them deep into their half. Grimaldo, I think it was, just kind of booted a panic ball out into the middle of the field. Declan Rice wins it, brings it down, superb control, and just kind of that pass shot where he just guides it into the bottom right corner of the goal, and we go 2-0 up. And again, a really exceptional goal of the highest quality. You know, he made it look easy, but to bring the ball down from that height, to control it, to keep it under his feet, and then just guide it into that bottom right corner, was just an exceptional goal. And at 2-0, it's game over. And I thought for the rest of the game, in large parts, we managed to see that game out well. Like I said, a few breakaway opportunities where I would have liked that final ball to have been better, or that shot to have got off sooner. But that's just me nitpicking. Good to see a few substitutions be made. In terms of people that stood out to me, the one thing I do want to save, that David Raya save in the 85th, 86th minute, that is a huge save. Not only is it a fantastic save, but it's a huge save. If Leverkusen score that, you've got 9-10 minutes sitting at 2-1. All they need is one goal to take it to extra time, and who knows what kind of panic and mayhem that goal causes. So that was a fantastic save. And I've got to say, I think David Raya has gone a little bit unnoticed this season. It almost seems like in every game he produces at least one or two absolutely insane saves. And I think without him this season, we would be nowhere near where we are. So I wanted to make note of David Raya. I thought Saliba and Gabriel managed that centre forward of Leverkusen very well this time. I thought it wasn't that he got the better of Saliba and Gabriel in the first leg, but he definitely created a little bit more panic amongst them. Whereas I thought today they were in complete control. I thought Ben White had a good performance considering he's been out for a while. It was nice to see him. I love the fact that he just offers a little bit more threat going forward, particularly in that kind of overlapping role he does with Saka. It just gives Saka a little bit more space, because all of a sudden it's not just Saka you've got to worry about. You've also got to worry about the overlap run that Ben White does. So it was great to see him back on the pitch. I thought this was probably Zubamendi's best performance in a long time. I thought he looked a lot more. He just looked quicker today. He looked more aggressive, more forward thinking. He was trying to pass forward through the lines as opposed to a lot of sideways, backwards stuff. I thought Declan Rice grew into the game. I thought he was really good, and that goal was exceptional. Eze, as I said, it was interesting. Arteta said something either after the game or before the game. He was referring to the fact that I think he's getting what he wants from Eze now in terms of the off-the-ball stuff. And he kind of said a line about, that's a fundamental must if you want to play in this team, is being good off the ball and pressing off the ball. And so I think Eze is definitely I think it's clicked for Eze now. And so, outside of the goal, there wasn't a huge amount to roar about, but there were definitely some nice moments, some nice movements. And I thought he played well. he did come off with it looked like he came off with an injury. It doesn't seem like he was injured, and he interviewed after the game and he seems fine, but that would be a huge loss if he's a concern for the cup final, because obviously Odegaard's still out as well, and he's obviously full of confidence right now. So desperately hoping that there's nothing wrong with Eze there. I thought Saka on the right, it was better. Definitely a much better performance than against Everton, than against Leverkusen in the first leg. It was a better performance. I still want to see more, if I'm being honest. I still think there's many levels for Saka to go up in, but it was a step in the right direction. I thought Trossard was industrious. He had a few good chances in the first half, but nothing out of the ordinary. I thought Gyökeres played okay, had some good runs, worked hard, defended well on corners. He got one good shot off in the second half, which he probably could have done a little bit better with. There was a nice cross ball into the goal where I think there was a last-minute block from the defender. Otherwise, that would have been a tap-in for Nketiah. So, yeah, I thought overall it was not a bad performance from Gyökeres. I thought his link-up play was a little bit better today as well. In terms of who came on, Havertz came on, didn't really do much. Obviously, that disallowed goal was a clear handball. Norgard came in and kind of just, did his thing. Who else? Martinelli came on, caused a little bit of kind of concern with his pace. But, yeah, Lewis Skelly came on with like 3 or 4 minutes to go. Yeah, a really good, dominant, controlled, matured performance in a second leg by Arsenal in the Champions League. And I think the fact that we've earned the right to have these second legs at the Emirates is going to be a huge benefit for us moving forward, because I think we just need to control that away performance in the first leg, and then we bring them back to Emirates. And I think at home at the Emirates with the crowd, I think we're going to be a tough team to get past. So yeah, very good night for Arsenal. Obviously Man City have gone out, Chelsea have gone out. We've got Sporting Lisbon in the next round. They had a great comeback against Bodo Glimt. And look, I think on one hand, yes, Bodo Glimt maybe is the easier tie, but in saying that, they would have had to travel further. They would have had to have played on that awful plastic pitch, which, who knows what kind of injuries could have come from playing on that type of surface. And so, yeah, it won't be an easy game. But if you had to give me that over a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, a Bayern Munich, or a PSG or a Liverpool, I'm taking it all day long. So I fully expect us to be able to go into that. And if we play to our level, then we should be able to get past Sporting Lisbon as well. So, yeah, I listened to the post-game interviews. Declan Rice, Eze, they're all saying the right things. They know what is at stake here. They understand what is in front of them. And I love the fact that Rice talked about kind of legacy and creating a legacy within this football club. And I really do get the impression right now that these Arsenal players understand the opportunity and the gravity of the opportunity they've got in front of them. And I just pray and I hope that we can do that justice, because I believe this team deserves it. And I know deserves a weird word to use in sport, because it doesn't really work like that. But I think about the last couple of years and the trajectory we've been on. It would be great for these boys to do something more than just one trophy. As much as I'd love the Premier League trophy, and that would be amazing, I think these boys deserve some kind of double or treble, and who knows past that. But now all energy, all eyes turn to that League Cup final against City on the weekend. City will be bruised. They've been knocked out by Real Madrid. They'll have a point to prove. And that will be an incredibly difficult game. I'm going to do a match preview for that one. I haven't been doing preview videos recently because I feel like it kind of just ends up me just regurgitating the same thing, which is that we need to win it. But I think for this one, I'll do a little video to kind of give my thoughts on it. But yeah, how incredible would it be if we could pick up a trophy on the weekend and just set ourselves up for the rest of the season. I feel like if we can win that League Cup final and we can collect that trophy, it's not that it takes the pressure off, but it almost puts us in a position where it's like, all right, let's do the business in the league. Let's get those 2 trophies, and then what else can we do? And then we're talking really special stuff. So yeah, I'm jumping the gun, but tonight was a great performance, a great result. We're into the quarterfinal, and we just got to keep doing what we're doing. So yeah, love to know what you think. Let me know, star players, what were your thoughts on the performance? What do you think about Eze? Is he coming good at the right time in the season? Just let me know what you think. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.